Hello and welcome to our live crafting session today. Thank you so much for joining me. It's Monday the 17th of October and my name's Jenny McCormac. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire in the UK. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you've had a great weekend. It's a Monday morning and it's a new stamp set for us today. As you can see, it's called Brewed for You, and it's in the annual catalogue on page 83, and it's just £17 for this stamp set. As you can see, it features 3 beer glasses. So we've got the tall one here, the handled one, and then the sort of lager one. Now this one I think you could also make into a wine glass. It's not quite the right dimensions for a wine glass, but it's not far off. And then you've got the bottle as well. You've also got the froth on the top of this glass here and some on this one here, and the infills that you can use to colour those in. You could also use blends pens or something like that if you wanted to. And then we've got 3 sentiments, I owe you one or several, another round for your birthday, and OL yes. Bit of a play on words, that one. So I haven't used this one. We're opening it and using it for the first time, and because it's Monday, we're going to start off nice and simply. If you follow me, you know that we always start with a simple card for the week. So let's get cracking. So hi Catherine, and hi Brenda. I don't know, perhaps Catherine, you could let me know if oh okay, am I breaking up? I was going to say, am I cracking up? Well, say no more. Right, I'm going to start actually by stamping just a couple of these out so that I've got a sheet of the stamped images that I can refer to, and also it's a good way of conditioning your stamps. I think I'm just going to start with this beer glass here, this tall one. So let's see, we've got the outside outline glass, and then we've got the infill. So let's start with those, and a block. Okay, so I've got just a piece of our basic white card here that I will use, and I'll just use some Early Espresso ink, and this is a good way to try out different inks for the infill so that you get different types of beer and lager, and I'm not an expert at all. I know very little about it. Morning Scott. Oh good, thank you Brenda. So just going to stamp this. I might do a couple across the bottom so that I can just try out a few different colours of beer or lager. Okay, so I've just got 3 across there. Let's grab a different block. So there's lots of different techniques you can do with this type of stamp set, and one of those is creating the design to look like it's glass, so making it shiny. So I've got a few ideas on what we could do to make that shiny. So this is So Saffron. I'm just going to stamp it on its own first, like so. and then take my glasses off and pop it in here like so. Okay, it's come out quite easily. Let's try a different colour of beer. Now you could have, I wonder if, I'm trying to think of Guinness. It's a sort of reddy brown, isn't it? I think espresso might be too dark, mightn't it? Let's see what else we could, excuse me, what else we could use. Cajun Craze. Cinnamon cider would have been a good one, of course. Okay, this is Cajun Craze. Just see what this looks like. So say you've got the different glasses. So you've got 3 different glasses and you've got the bottle as well. And I must try this with the froth. Okay, this is Cajun Craze. I haven't actually got much ink in here, so I'm hoping it will work. So I'm just lining it up above the bottom of the glass. Okay, there we go. So it's quite easy to line up. There's a bit, you know, there's a little bit to play with. Okay, and let's just try, just going to try one colouring it in. Let's see what I've got. I've got a cinnamon cider pen hanging around. So just see what that looks like. I might do that right the way to the top. So just using a sort of brush stroke like that. Okay, so if you prefer to colour in, you can definitely do that. You'd need, if you wanted it further down, you'd need to have a nice, you know, a fairly straight line. Either have a marked piece of sticky note, post-it note or masking paper across the top. Let's have a look at the froth dripping down. See how that would work. So I presume this one fits this one here. Let's grab a small block and then we'll just put together a simple card for today, and then I'll work on some different designs for the week. So let's try Early Espresso. I need it to stand out against here. Like so. There you go. And then what I could do with is the colour lifter to take out some of that colour in here. If you can see that colour lifting from there. That shows how effective it is actually bringing out that colour. Hopefully you can see that. I'm thinking just needs something really, really light in there. Let's see. No, it's too dark. Maybe just a very light crumb cake. Like so. There we go. Okay, so I don't think if you had this one here that you'd have froth on the top, because obviously there's no liquid up to that point. Let me know if you think differently. Oh, excuse me. Oh, that's a good idea, Catherine. Use a dauber to combine Cajun and espresso inks together. Yep. Morning, Fran, Babsy and Jill. So yeah, that's a good idea. So I'm just applying a little bit of that colour lifter again, but it's amazing how it's lifted that all together. Now what would be more sensible would be this. So this is why just having a play with your stamps is a really good way to you know, just experiment with them. But if I did that and then that, like so, and then coloured in and left that little bit free, uninked, it would be even more effective, like so. But it's only by playing or watching somebody else play that you get the most out of your stamps, I feel. Sometimes you can just do something, ah yes, and it works first time. There we go, that's better, isn't it? So by stamping that and leaving it before I coloured, excellent, that worked. Okay, so we've done a bit of, oh yes, root beer float, so that would make sense actually. That would definitely make sense. Okay, so let's make a card. Now I've got some pieces of white card that I've cut up with our Deckle edged. I didn't want anything too fancy or too pretty. So it's a case of whether I'll get 3 of these glasses in the smaller one or whether I'd be better off with the larger one. I think with the larger one, and then I've got space for my sentiment. So let's give that a go. So I'm just going to stamp 3 glasses, and I'm going to do the middle one first and then one either side. So I'm just using Early Espresso, but you could use a grey, you could use a black. Okay, so I'm just doing this by sight. This would be a good one for the Stamparatus, of course, because you could have them equally spaced. And this will be our stamp set of the week. So it will feature right through this week, and also in our coffee and card on Friday in Brackley and Monday next week in Toaster. There we go. And let's find, oh, should have moved them a bit further down. I need spends for the sentiment. So we've got another round for your birthday. I think would be quite good, wouldn't it? And I think that will fit in. It will fit in there. There we go. Now I want to just stamp this off first, as I haven't used it yet. Perfect, just to make sure it's stamping nicely, especially with photopolymer stamps. Morning, Linda. Okay, so another round for your birthday. Okay, and then I think what I'm going to do is, so this is So Saffron, and I've got pens in So Saffron. So let's see what these look like. Or I could do 3 different colours of beer. Let's see. Let's start with this on the left. So this is dark So Saffron. So I'm just using this down the edges like that. So, and then I'll use the light one in the middle. Hopefully that will give it a bit of light and shade. Okay. So the question is, am I going to do the same or different? So I could do, I've got Cajun Craze. So let's try this with 3 different sets. Let me put this ink pad away, and this one. Okay, so that's So Saffron, and then the next one I'm going will be cinnamon cider. I've got dark and light. Just want to see. And this is Cajun Craze. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is going to write on here what these are. So when I pick this up in 6 months' time, So Saffron, and then this one, cinnamon cider, and then this one, Cajun Craze. Okay, this was Cajun Craze. Okay, pens. Alright, that's just a reminder for me, and I keep this in with the stamp set. So I'm going to go cinnamon cider next, and then Cajun Craze. So again, I'm going to use the dark. So. And then the light. Now you could use watercolour pens for this, pencils rather. You could also use ink and an aqua painter. You could mask it off and use blending brushes. Let's just do that one. And then finally, Cajun Craze, light and dark. Hi Michelle. Hope you're well. We missed you on Friday. I know you were working. This is what we're doing this week. So I hope you're able to join us for that. Okay, so using the dark along the edges and the bottom, like so. And then the light. So this is Cajun Craze. So the set is called Brewed for You. And it's a good price set at £17 for 13 stamps. And perfect if you've got beer lovers in your life. And what's fab about this is it has matching dies as well. So the dies cut out the main elements, it cuts out the froth separately, and then you've got infills with little bubbles and things like that. So I'll be using these later in the week, and there's even a piece that cuts out this these gaps here. So look forward to opening those and using those. But that'll be for today. Another round for your birthday. So let's pop this onto a card. So I'm thinking I'm going to pick out obviously either one of these colours, or what would be nice would be all three, 1, 2, 3. To utilise those three colours like that. I think I might just use Cajun Craze, and let's see whether I put it on a note card or a larger card. Hi Sylvia, thanks for joining us. I hope you're well. Let me see. So this is the note card size. Oh, that would certainly do it. And these colours would work perfectly with these It's the Man set of papers, because we've got Cajun Craze, we've got Espresso, we've got Sahara Sand. So any of these, I think I'll use these. Oh, that's rather nice, isn't it, with that behind. Let's go for that one. So I think I'll use these for our copy and card. Chop those up into pieces. Right, let's just cut this one up, move this out of the way. So because this is fitting a note card, this is going to be 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. And that would have it. That will make 2. Okay. Take that out of the way. Fold this up. so. And then I've got this layer which I could do at a jaunty angle, like so. What do we think? Or straight. I think perhaps if it was smaller I'd get away with it jaunty, but I'm going to stick it straight for this one. And obviously on the inside you could put a large birthday message. Orange, red foiled paper. Oh yes, they would. Do you mean the glittery one, or the oh well, yes, I do know what you mean. Do you mean the festive? I wonder if you mean the festive foils. Hi Jeanette. This has got foiling in them. Or the 6x6 ones. Which I have somewhere, but I can't just see to hand. I might, yeah, I think that's a great idea. I might dig those out. Thank you, Catherine. Yeah, the black silver, yes. So that works actually either side, doesn't it? I will dig those out. There we go. And so there's lots of different things you can do with this. We could also use Wink of Stella on these to make it slightly glittery. Let's pop this up with dimensionals just for a different look. There we go. So it's a nice bright sunny morning here this morning. Let's hope that continues. We had a fair bit of rain yesterday evening, but dry at the moment. Looking forward to coffee and card this afternoon. And we also meet up every 6 or 8 weeks or so and have a light lunch before coffee and card. So we've got that to look forward to. And I think I'm going to add a few gems to that, because we've got the nice metallic ones. I can find them. I did sort all of my gems out, which is a bit of a miracle. See if I can find those. There we go, that's what I'm thinking. Brushed metallic adhesive backed dots. But I think these pick out those colours really nicely, don't they? So let's pop some of those on, and that's the card finished. And obviously I'm going to stamp one of those glasses on the envelope. Go. So we've got this, they do come in different sizes. Going to alternate those colours a bit, and that one. There we go. Another round for your birthday. All done. So I will, as I say, pop a glass on the envelope, but Oh, thank you. Yes, metallic and shimmering paper. Oh, excellent. Let's just read out Brenda's comment. She says, I started my August class in a box a couple of days ago. Decided to see just how many cards I could make with the papers and elements. Used some of my own elements and made 15 cards and lots of papers left. Oh, brilliant. I'm so pleased, Brenda. So pleased. I think people underestimate how much product you get in the class in a box. The uptake for this month has been really good, so I appreciate that for anybody who's ordered that one. But there's our finished card. What I didn't show you was the page in the catalogue. So you can find this set, Brewed for You, on page 83 of the annual catalogue. I appreciate you can't see all of that in detail. But they've used some of the dyes there, and they've also teamed it up with this set on the left called Whiskey Business, with the whiskey decanter and the whiskey glass. Sorry, it'll make you feel a bit seasick, won't it? So there's some more ideas on there as well if you want to watch that. Look at that on page 83, but the stamp set on its own is 17. But if you buy it with the dies, it's 36, which I think is still really good value for the stamp set with dies. Okay, so that's all. I've whittled on a little bit more than I should have done, as it's just gone 10:30. But I hope you like the card. This will feature right the way through the week. I've got some other ideas as to how to make these look like glasses that are shiny. So like glasses. So I hope you're able to join me for those. I'll be back tomorrow, Tuesday at 7 p.m. and we'll be progressing with this stamp set. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great week ahead, and depending on when and where you're watching, enjoy your morning, afternoon or evening, and I look forward to crafting with you again really soon. Thank you so much. Bye for now.